Okay, so the last one, we'll try to wrap it up pretty quickly, but I do want to touch on this one because it was the season finale.
For sure.
They kind of did make fun of Star Wars. It was the Star Mort Rick turn of the Jerry.
Yep.
So like a little bit of play on.
And
words
they literally
there.
said this isn't going to have a easily exploitable weakness in it.
Yeah, like there's not going to be the hole in the ship or something.
I think
like
he literally said Star Wars. Didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing
a
Star Wars.
Yep. Do you want to lead off on this one, and I'll touch on some points?
Yeah. Okay. So for some reason they brought in Wrangler jeans. I don't know why.
I really appreciate it.
I thought it was hilarious, but I was also like, are they in with Wrangler jeans? Is this like a product placement thing? Or is this like on the other side? Like, is this like something against it? Real quick, GB Crash is interesting too, is the fact that Rick or the father is the government. The tyrannical and or benevolent father has been projected onto the government in archetypal stories. So I almost wonder, like, I guess there could be a dialogue about like government and like Big Brother type government versus like Christianity's role in government. There could be something there. I don't know. I'm gonna pull a Rick. There might be a lesson to learn there, but I'm not gonna figure it out. So I'll let you do that.
Well played.
But yeah. So I mean, like in the finale, it was very interesting. Obviously, they brought in from a callback to a previous season. They brought in clone Beth. And they raised the question, which one is the real Beth?
We still don't know.
Which we still don't know. They brought back Bird Person as Phoenix Person, call back to the fact that he rose from the ashes. He rose from the dead, which a Phoenix does. And then they did, like, this really weird, like, Star Wars type thing. They brought back the assassin character from Blitz and Chips episode. So that race is the same race that the assassin. Do you remember the assassin from the Blitz and Chips episode where they're in the arcade and they hire an assassin to kill somebody? I forget. And he's like, I love murder. He's like, it's okay. I love murder or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
And well, that was the same race as the people they're fighting.
Yeah.
And they just like, it was just weird. Like they beat the ship with the Wrangler jeans by blocking the laser or something.
Yeah.
And then they had there was a lot going on in this episode. I'm not sure if there's a lesson to be learned from it. The only thing that I could really say is the fact that in the end they have this really dark moment. There's the two moments. There's one where it's like the two clones. And Rick's basically like, I have the answer here. None of us know. Even I don't know which one of you's real. And he's like, I don't really know why I did it. He doesn't know anything about it. And the reality is they were like, we don't need to know. We're like, you screwed this up. You did this. And they're like, we're okay with who we are. We've accepted who we are. And you're gonna leave. We're leaving you alone to figure that out. And it really it hits Rick at a low again. Mm-hmm. And he has this moment of he rewatches it and he learns that he cloned his own daughter and he doesn't even know which one's real. Which you could argue if they have the same memories and they just live different lives, could they not be both considered your daughter, right? Because they're clones. They have the same starting point as the memories of your daughter. So there's kind of that question. But again, he ends with this moment of oh wow, I'm a horrible father, and he has this dark moment. Which, you take this back, and this is wow, he's aware of his problems, and he has these problems, which, let's just say, if you've done a lot of really bad things in your season, that's not a bad way to end the season with a fresh start, so we feel bad for him again, and he can go back to his tomfoolery in the beginning of the next season.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we have Invisible Truck Man, start of a new franchise.
I was dying laughing at this, because, again, it's a Jerry thing. Pretty much everything Jerry does is most of it can be a joke. It's not taken seriously at all. And so we kind of skipped over it. It wasn't really a huge point of the show, but there was an invisibility belt that Summer and Morty were giving back and forth. And then Jerry actually he kind of did save the day.
He did.
He put the belt on and carried Tammy.
The weekend of burning her.
Yeah, dead corpse and like distracted Phoenix person long enough basically for them to like overthrow him. And then at the end of the episode, like Jerry threw the invisible belt into like this garbage truck, and it turned the whole truck invisible. And it was so funny. Like the people that were driving it were like, "What the heck?" And they jumped out. And then like a car.
Crime.
What's that?
And he used it to fight crime.
Yeah. And yeah, so like, I'm just like telling this story, but like a car started driving down the road. They're like, wait, and like, he runs right into the invisible garbage truck, like blows up. Like the guy actually got out of the car and he was fine, and I think his car was invisible because it ran over him. And then like it blew up, and then Jerry was like, well, when in Rome, so he got in the invisible garbage truck. And do you remember how the little jingle went?
I don't know. He's like, it's a new it's like a start of a franchise or something. Yeah. And then it ends with like, basically he runs out of gas. And it's like, oh, it's the start of a franchise until he runs out of gas.
He's at the gas station and he's like, he couldn't find like where the gas went. He's like, forget it. And then he just ditched it.
And it's interesting that that's the end credits of the final episode. Yeah. And it is funny, but I also have a question for you. It's really funny. And at the end, he says, until it runs out of gas. Mm-hmm. And so this leads to my question. We've talked about the season. We really loved the season. But at the end of the day, if the show runs out of gas, are we going to be able to keep going? And I think maybe that's something, because the whole season did kind of feel like it was a narrative on like, we're going to keep trying to keep going, but eventually we're going to run out of ideas. Mm-hmm. And I wonder, like, it's quite possible that, like, that was kind of us, like, ending the season with, like, this is really funny. We've had a really good ride. We're going to keep doing it. But, you know, this truck is invisible and we don't know when it's going to run out of gas.
Yeah.
You know? So,
I like that.
And maybe that's, maybe that is there. Again, maybe I'm reading too much into it. But, yeah. So it does raise a question. Regardless of how many seasons may be slated to continue, do you think, like, this show is going to keep going and continually meet expectations?
Yeah, and I think a show like Rick and Morty, it's like tough to really have fixed expectations on because it's so like it is really all over the place.
Right.
And I don't think like you can theorize as much as you want, but like Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland, like they're not gonna let you be able to predict what's gonna happen. Right. So like I'm excited to see what they do with the next season if it's kind of like all over the place again,
right?
Which I would think it probably is, and what like direction they're gonna take. Do they make Rick even more vulnerable in future seasons?
That's true.
Does Morty start becoming like more of a useful tool to Rick, or even like maybe he'll start leading Rick?
Right.
Maybe he kind of takes over, or like we really don't know. But I'm excited. I'm definitely still hooked. Yep. Overall, what were your thoughts on the season? Like 1 through 10, how would you rate it?
I think in comparison to the other seasons, I'd say I don't know. I guess if the average of the seasons was a 5, I'd put it. I'd say it's probably maybe second or third best season. I don't think it's the best season. Yeah. I'd probably say the first was just because it really hit the ground running. Mm-hmm. But I think it was really good. And actually, what I'd probably say, I mean, would you put it around? Where would you say it is in the seasons?
Yeah, like probably second or third, like right in the middle. But I mean, even if it's like third or fourth, like it's really not a drop off. Like it was a good season, and I really did enjoy it.
Yeah. So we originally planned to get into like theories for the next season, all this stuff. So and I don't know when the next season's coming out, but I feel like we've gone a long time with just doing the episodes and talking about the episodes and breaking them down. Honestly, we could have done like a weekly breakdown if we really thought it in advance and did it. So maybe what we'll do is we'll plan right before the next season comes out. Maybe I'll have you on again.
Yeah, for sure.
And we can break down what we expect for the next season, and we can talk about some theory. We can just deep dive into like theorizing and stuff. And really go into those. So I think we'll call it there.